Seems like everything out here in the bush is trying to kill you. You got spiders, snakes, you can even be shivved by the poisonous spines of a platypus. Ah, crikey! Oh, back in the tree with you, little girl. But there's one dangerous critter that's been making a bit of a comeback. Now, he may look just as ridiculous as a platypus, but he's responsible for the deaths of millions of people. And 40 of the little buggers have been spotted out here in the Aussie bush.
38 members of the National Socialist Network went hiking in the Grampians over the Australia Day long weekend. Faces hidden, they pose with an Australian flag, performing the Nazi salute. The group also visited Hall's Gap, where tourists and business owners called police, reporting anti-Semitic and racist behaviour.
Now, you might think that Nazis marching openly through country towns is a one-off thing, or a two-off thing if you count the Second World War, and most people do. But unfortunately, Nazi sightings in Australia are becoming increasingly common.
Locals in a popular Western Victorian camping spot are worried that visits by self-described neo-Nazis are becoming more common.
The small Victorian town blighted by a couple raising a Nazi flag outside their home.
A shopper has been spotted wearing a swastika armband. It happened at a market in MOORABBIN yesterday afternoon.
Oh, bumping into a Nazi at the shop is the only thing more awkward than bumping into your ex. Unless, of course, your ex is a Nazi. Long story. Most people associate extremism with Islamic terrorism, but attacks motivated by right-wing ideology are on the rise, increasing by 320% in the 5 years to 2020. Right-wing groups are responsible for most of the terrorist attacks in the United States. In Australia, ASIO says these extremist groups are recruiting using the same tactics as ISIS, and now use more than a third of ASIO's counter-terrorism resources, compared to only 15% prior to 2016.
In Australia, the right-wing extremist threat is real and it is growing. In suburbs around Australia, small cells meet regularly, and sadly these groups are more organised than they were in previous years.
He's right. Do you know how hard it is to get 38 blokes to colour coordinate? Nightmare. Yet with all these warnings, the Australian government has demanded that we all stop making such a fuss.
There are voices out there, and particularly the opposition in recent days, that have been making a lot about all of the extremism in Australia, and I think they're overemphasising this. What we have here is increased social cohesion, not increasing extremism.
The government say they are addressing right-wing extremists, but they just want to treat all extremism the same.
Extreme right-wing extremism, Islamic extremism, I don't care. Our resources will be applied to neutralise that threat.
Except that we have a list of 27 terrorist groups recognised by the Australian government, which makes it illegal to join or participate in these groups or get together for a flag jamboree, which Nazis are mad for. As yet, none of Australia's active neo-Nazi groups are on that list, putting us at odds with New Zealand, the US, the UK and Canada.
Canada has formally labelled the Proud Boys a terrorist entity, saying it poses an active security threat.
The Proud Boys may sound like a lesser-known Enid Blyton novel, but they are a white supremacist group who are operating here in Australia. We also have the Lads Society, another white supremacist group whose online social network included the Australian man who killed 51 people in Christchurch in one of the deadliest terror attacks in modern history. Now, you may not have heard of them, but some of their members are part of the National Socialist Network, which went bushwalking and cross-burning in the Grampians. If these groups were on the terrorist list, they could get up to 25 years in jail. But since they're not, there's just nothing we can do.
Our members deployed to that group and spoke with them and identified that they weren't breaking any laws.
If Neville Chamberlain taught us anything about the Nazis, it's that if you just ignore them, they don't go away.